is because either yourself or your young person has signed up to NCS this summer. We are really looking forward to getting back to delivering what we deliver best, and that is the residential part. Over the last 2 years, due to COVID, we have been unable to take young people away on an overnight programme. However, we still have delivered NCS, but it's been in a different capacity. So as mentioned, really looking forward to getting back to delivering the residential programme. So hopefully you guys obviously know what NCS is all about. It is a programme for 16 and 17-year-olds to take part in the summer holidays. We also run autumn programmes as well. However, summer is our biggest programme. It is a 2-week programme split into 4 different phases, and I'll touch base on those. It's the first time that I've actually delivered this video virtually, so I'm hoping it does work for you. It might be a little bit jumpy. If it is, I do apologise. Brilliant. So for those that couldn't hear, it was just all about young people that had taken part in NCS in the past and how they had some really positive experiences, meeting new people, making new friends, trying some new activities that they might not have done, and of course, obviously having a residential as well. So over 600,000 young people have already taken part in NCS. This year alone, we're looking at taking around another 60,000 young people from just across England. Which will be amazing, and it's going to be around for the future. And obviously, it's what we do day to day as a full-time job here at Activate, and it's definitely something a young person should be looking forward to doing. So the reason why we are here, because it's a parent information evening, just to find out a little bit more, ready for summer, just making sure we've got everything all ticked off and your young person is ready to go for a great summer ahead. So who are we? We are Activate, so we sit at the bottom of this pyramid. We are your local delivery partner for Surrey. So we deliver the programme in the whole of Surrey for young people. However, we didn't deliver the assembly. So as you can see above on the slide, your regional delivery partner is an organisation called Ingius, and they do the recruitment. So they do all the engagement with schools. They go into schools, deliver assemblies, deliver break stands, lunchtime stands, careers, events, workshops, etc. to engage your young person to find out about NCS and then sign them up. Once they sign up, they then come over to us. As I say, we are Activate. We then take over everything from programme delivery. And at the top, obviously, you've got the NCS Trust to oversee everything. So who are Activate? We are an organisation that has been around for the last 17 years. We have come from running holiday camps. So we run sports camps in football, hockey, cricket, netball, cooking, triathlon, loads of different sports camps, and we deliver those all across the country. As well as that, we deliver the Holiday Activity Food Programme, which is a new initiative from the government to support young people on free school meals. And also, over the last 6 years, we've been delivering NCS. As mentioned here, we're looking at taking around 1,700 to 2,000 young people away ourselves in 2022. I actually think by the end of 2022, it will be closer to 2,500. We currently deliver NCS in the following areas. So we deliver it in Somerset, Devon, Dorset, Bedford, as mentioned, obviously Surrey, the East Midlands and Walsall. So we're very spread out. We have a North team and we have a South team. Obviously, the main outcomes of NCS are fun. We want the young person to go away and have fun with us in the summer holidays. Obviously, it's been a very challenging 2 years for them. And this might be the first time they've actually ever done a residential, or definitely a residential since they were in primary school. It's all about them getting some self-belief of actually, yes, they can, they can go on to university, they can get a good job, they can develop their career, they can do anything that they want to as long as they put their mind to it. It's all about them getting some independence. So that could be, cooking for themselves. It could be just staying away, just all the skills that they get from being away from home and having to, make their bed or pack their bed or actually go and meet new people and make friends. It's really, really important. And as well as that, the aim is to also gain some life skills ready for their future and their next step, especially in education. As well as that, we write all of our session plans. So we have to write our session plans and then we submit them into NCS and then they essentially mark them and approve them. All of our sessions focus on the skill builder framework. So you've got the core skills, which are listening, speaking, problem solving, creativity, staying positive, aiming high and being the best, obviously leadership and teamwork as well. So we work on all of those skills throughout all of our sessions on programme. We are very fortunate as an organisation to have our own individual staff recruitment team. So the guy that oversees our staff recruitment is a guy called Ollie, and he normally tries to recruit teachers, welfare officers, undergraduates that are studying teacher training courses, sports courses, psychology courses. We look to recruit sports coaches, counsellors, and again, we also recruit NCS graduates that have done the programme with us in the past to come back and work for us as team assistants. So once your young person graduates and they turn 18, we'll invite them back for a job interview. As well as that, all of our staff have enhanced DBS checks. So we apply for that. They pay for their new certificate and it's under Activate. And they all go through online training. So we have to run our own online training as an organisation that covers things like safeguarding. As well as that, we also have our staff take part in the NCS online training. So they have to complete both sets of online training. As well as that, they do a 2-day residential if they're a manager on programme, which we're actually running this weekend. As well as that, they all do a full day of face-to-face training and half a day of additional curriculum training, which is a little bit more local for them. And again, they're all first aid trained. Just as mentioned, without our seasonal staff, we would be unable to deliver our programmes. So we really do invest a lot of time in them. So this is how we set up as a head office team at Activate. We've got our director, Ollie, who sits at the top. In the south, you've got myself. So I oversee our programmes in Surrey and the southwest. And you've got Frankie and you've got Ollie, who are our NCS coordinators. So again, they sort of look after our Southwest contract and also our Surrey contract as well. So they'll be on the ground a little bit more in the summer. And then most of you would have had some communication with Michelle. So Michelle is our full-time Surrey customer service officer. So she doesn't go out on programme in the summer. She'll always be the one that's behind the phone or behind the email that comes in. And as mentioned, we've got obviously Ollie, our staff recruitment officer. We've got Lynn, who does our staff compliance. So she makes sure all the paperwork is in. We've got all the references for our staff. They've all got their first aid certificates and so on. And then we're very fortunate to have Matt, who looks after our data, that can kind of he's amazing for us. Really, really good help because I'm not very good at data and computers. So staffing on site, how do we structure ourselves? So the way that this year's programme is running, we are going to Operations Encounter, they've got 2 sites. So they've got the Marlow site and they've got the Newham site. We are going to the Newham site in Hertfordshire, and Operations Encounter, essentially, they manage the venue for us. They manage the accommodation, they manage the food, and they manage the activities. So they're very, very key to us this summer. Above Operations Encounter, you've got your local engagement coordinators. So that's going to be Ollie and Frankie this summer. And then We have a wave leader. So the wave leader is in charge of essentially the wave that goes out and the wave that completes and graduates. And the wave leader also has an assistant wave leader, which kind of acts a little bit more as a welfare officer and kind of heads up our first aid. Your young person will be in a team of 16, and they'll also have 2 team leaders with them throughout the whole of the 2-week program. So as you guys hopefully know, that NCS is a 2-week program. It's a week residential followed by 30 hours of volunteering. So it's split into 4 phases. The first phase is the epic, the second is live life, and they're in the residential week. And then the do good comes in the second week, which is the volunteering. And then once they've graduated and completed their 30 hours, they will be invited to our graduation. So be epic. This is a great opportunity for young people to have a time away from home, to take part in a residential, to take part in different types of challenges. As mentioned, we are using Operations Encounter this year, and they've got heaps of experience of delivering NCS programs. So we're really looking forward to using them this year. It's the first time we have. Obviously, we've had some really good feedback in the past. So they are based over Newham, which is Hertfordshire. Lots of space, and this is kind of a short video, hopefully you can see, of what sort of activities your young person will be doing this summer. So throughout week 1, they'll be taking part in loads of different activities. We've got a day which is called an epic challenge. I'm not going to give too much away from it. However, it's all about the young people working on teamwork and leadership skills to collect tokens. And then in the evening, they'll get to make and cook their own pizzas in a big giant pizza oven. So that's a really good day. They'll be doing some other things like high ropes, crate stacking, and a couple of other surprises that I'm not going to spoil you guys with. But it's all about sort of challenge by choice, working together as a team, showing leadership skills, and having fun. Also, throughout the rest of the week, we also do our live life activities, and I'll touch base on those on the next slide. In the evening, we'll be putting on some evening activities. We do sort of some things like some quiz nights. We'll have a big barbecue on the last night as well, a big music night, potentially a movie night as well. So we'll be running these activities, and it'll kind of just be a nice environment for everyone to take part in. And because they're obviously in their team, they can kind of sort of then engage with the other teams as well and get to know young people from other areas of Surrey. So our site, as you can see from the slide here, young people are going to be staying in the bell tents. So the bell tents will fit 8 to 10 people in. Everyone is provided with an airbed. However, you must bring a pillow and a sleeping bag. Okay, we have hot water on site, so there are hot showers and obviously toilets as well. And as you can see here, they have a giant marquee, and Matt, the site manager, he sort of said to me, yeah, we can definitely fit around 5,000 people under this marquee. So it's a really large space, and that's where they'll be preparing their lunch. It's where they'll be having breakfast. It's where they'll be having dinner, because obviously the site is fully catered as well. One thing I do say is please bring some cash, because we will be running a tuck shop. So there'll be an opportunity if they want to go and grab a cold can of Coke. Or some Pringles or something like that. So please bring, maybe £10 for the week for some snacks. Breakfast is full English, so there will be a choice of full English items. There'll also be continental. Young people, they will have to make their own packed lunches. We're not going to do everything for them. As I say, it's all about gaining some independence. So they'll make their packed lunch in the morning, and then in the evening, dinner is provided, and it's good food, really good food. I think the first night is fajitas, and as I mentioned on the last night, it is a barbecue. Just a couple of things I have to go over. In the last sort of 6 years, I've only probably ever had to send a young person home maybe 3 times. We have a 3-strike rule. Obviously, if a young person does something that is not appropriate, that's a warning. If they do something again, it's a second warning, and we call the parents. If they do something again, so it's 3 strikes, unfortunately they are out, so we will call you and we'll ask you to come and collect your young person. Damage, we know damage happens, accidents happen all the time. If there's some damage that has been proven to be on purpose, then we will be sending a bill home. Obviously, we have a no alcohol and drugs policy, so if anybody is found with alcohol and drugs, then again, parents, you'll have a phone call and you'll be asked to collect your young person. If there are any on-site issues, we will hopefully resolve them, again with operations encounters, they are the venue managers. There will be a smoking and e-cigarette area on site, but it'll be away from everybody else. So Live Life, this also happens in the first week. So Live Life is all about learning new skills, learning about things like budgeting, learning about your local community and what community means to you. It's about giving your young people an enterprise challenge. And again, we've also got Parliament booked in this year to come on site and deliver a session that will get young people debating about issues that matter to them. So these activities will go on throughout the Monday to Friday, as well as the outward bound activities. So there's a nice mix of activities going on. On the Friday, your young person will be dropped back home, and parents, unfortunately, you'll have to do their dirty washing. So a couple of questions that we do get. So can I bring my phone? Yes, your young person can bring their phone. There will be some charging points on site. However, there isn't any Wi-Fi. What do I need to pack? Hopefully you guys have received your kit list. If you haven't, it will come out again. But the only really important thing I would say would be to make sure you've got sun cream, make sure you've got a hat, make sure you've got a sleeping bag and pillow, and then obviously, general clothes for summer and a couple of nice warm jumpers for the evening. Touch base on the accommodation. The accommodation will be bell tents. Okay, so we will have obviously boys in one tent and girls in another tent. We'll have boys down one end of the campsite, we'll have staff in the middle, and then we'll have the girls at another end of the campsite. So there'll be a clear split. The food's pretty good, so I've been told. So hopefully there'll be no issues there. You guys would have done your medical forms. So if there's any dietary requirements on there, then we will obviously cater those dietary requirements. If anything changes between now and going out on programme, please let us know as soon as possible, because it is really, really important, and we have to get that information over to the venue. And your young person will never, ever be forced to do an activity. Everything is challenged by choice. However, obviously we encourage them, but no one will ever be forced. So after the first week away, we then go on to week 2, which is Do Good, which is a 30-hour volunteering project. This is so rewarding. If anybody is doing Duke of Edinburgh Gold, we can also sign your young person off with their volunteering and their residential. This is great for them to kind of have a focus and really build on it throughout the week, and sort of then obviously put it on their CV, talk about it at job interviews, write about it on their UCAS application. It is the way that we are running it. On the Monday, we are meeting at a central venue. So if you're on an Epsom programme, we've got a venue booked in Epsom, and if you're on a Guildford programme, we've got a venue booked in Guildford, etc. So your young person will meet at that venue at 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay, they will spend the day making sure everything is all planned for the rest of the week. We don't just start the social action project on the Monday of week 2. We actually start planting the seed on the first week, and they start thinking about it and talking about it, so they kind of have a sense of what they're going to be doing by the time they get home for the weekend. So as mentioned, it's a 30-hour social action project. hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of £1,000s raised. Last year, 500 students from Surrey, they raised £23,000 by doing loads of different events. We had sponsored walks for WWF, we had cake sales for Mind, we had food bank donations, we had garden renovations, you name it, we probably had it. We had loads of sort of groups also go into the local newspaper as well. And as you can see here in the past, we've had students go into national papers. Once they have graduated, they will then receive their invitation to graduation. So it's just got a couple of checks for you guys to go through. So hopefully you have done the above. So hopefully to get to here tonight, you've all done your medical form. Parents, you've given consent. You've checked your mobile numbers and the information that we've been given. And hopefully you've picked your bus pickup points. Another one is hopefully you've also told us what friends that you want to be with. So this was all sent out on the welcome pack and there were loads of links there. I know recently Michelle's been going through them just because we have been short on a few bus pickup points, but I think now we're pretty much there. So if you haven't told us, please do tell us what friends you want to go with before you go out, because we have to do the teams in advance and all the room and accommodation, etc. So you should have your welcome pack. You'll also have your printable kit list, and you will receive your bus check-in text the week before. When you get that text message, please can you reply, because that shows us that you're going to be turning up. At the moment, we have got probably about 135 young people on waiting lists, waiting to get onto a programme. NCS in Surrey this year is really in high demand, which is great. But as I say, please reply to your bus check-in text, because if you don't reply, we'll be thinking that you won't be coming. If you do have any sort of questions or you're missing some information, I've put Michelle's email on here. So please can you take a picture of it or write it down if you haven't got it. However, it should have come, you should have received it already. But please contact Michelle if you want to add any friends on or anything like that. As mentioned, okay, so once your young person graduates, they will receive an email, and it will be, once they've finished their social action project, they will receive an email, and it will be an invitation to our graduation. So please save these dates. We'll be having a graduation on Tuesday, the 6th of September, and we'll also be having one on Wednesday, the 7th of September. All graduations will run from 7 till 9 o'clock. It's a really good way for them to come back and see their teammates, see their team leaders, and also see other young people that they've met on their way, especially on the residential. So, for example, a Guildford programme will be going out at the same time as an Epsom programme. So young people might make friends from the Epsom teams, however, they won't see them in the second week. So coming back for graduation is a really good way to sort of catch up and see how everyone's doing. So just a couple of things. Our head office staff are out on programme all summer. Okay, so I mentioned Frankie and Ollie. They won't be able to reply to email straight away. They won't be able to reply to texts, and obviously they'll only be able to reply and answer the phone if it's safe to do so. They will get back to you, but as I say, it won't be straight away. As mentioned, Michelle is going to be office-based, so she will be on the phones, on the emails in the summer. So please do contact Michelle. We have our social media sites, so we've got our Twitter, we've got our Instagram, and we've got our Facebook. We will be posting on there, so please follow us. So there'll also be lots of updates going on there as well, pre-programme information, snippets of our staff, and then again any photos from activities that are taking place in the summer, so please follow them. Parents and young people, you'll also get a text message once you graduate from NCS. Basically, you'll get a text, and it'll be from an 0800 number. Please do reply from it. It doesn't come from Activate, it comes from NCS directly, and they want you to rate your NCS experience. So if your young person has gone away, had a really good summer, come back with confidence and made some new friends, please give us a 9 or a 10. The reason I say 9 or 10 is because 7s and 8s don't actually count towards our score. we always receive loads of 7s and 8s, and then we'll get some really positive comments. However, unfortunately, with MPS, 7s and 8s don't even fall into the category of counting. Obviously, if you have a terrible experience, then it's a 1 to 6. And if you could write a comment on why, that's kind of helpful for us as well with our feedback, just to make sure next year's program is even better. We also run a program called Changemakers. Changemakers is a volunteering program. Anybody that has done NCS before can apply to be part of Changemakers. Anybody who hasn't done NCS before, or anybody that is signed up for this summer's program, can also be involved in Changemakers. Basically, what it is that we try and meet up for 5 hours a month, and we think of social action projects to do. We start planning them, and then when they're ready and they're all planned, we then get out into the local community to deliver them. Recently, my colleague Frankie just did a sponsored walk with a group of young people from Surrey, and they raised some money for Mind. Before Christmas, I took a group of young people for Changemakers, and we planned a Children in Need quiz, and we raised £135 for children in need. So always volunteering will always stand out on CVs. So if your young person really wants to continue that, please get in touch. Perfect. Okay, so that is kind of an overview of our NCS program this summer. There's been a couple of questions that have gone on in the chat. Can it be a single duvet instead of a sleeping bag? It can be. Obviously the weather in July and August, it should be warm. And worst case scenarios is there will be some spare sleeping bags on site. Just because we always find that young people suddenly forget them or leave them at home, so we will always have some spares. But if you do have a sleeping bag, I'd recommend a sleeping bag, but I mean, I'm sure a duvet will do. Another one is quickly, just before I have to log off for the next meeting, is Duke of Edinburgh. So Duke of Edinburgh, you can use your hours from summer for your gold if you are doing gold next year. All you have to do is send us your assessor's login, and then we can fill out the online form for you. Okay, so that's it from me. If you do have any questions, please can you email Michelle, and we will get back to you. Just to let you guys know, we probably won't get back to you until early next week. We're all heading up to deliver our managers training weekend this weekend, so we're pretty much out of the office on Friday, Saturday and Sunday. But thank you very much.